Men Without Hats was the name of the 80s band who performed the 80s super hit Safety Dance. And right now I'm just thinking, or what has just flashed into my mind, is the phrase "men without masks." That needs to be the title of something. And I intend to make it the title of something, not least of which this video, but other things as well, because, well, it's becoming more and more clear to me, and I'm sure to many of you. I'm sure I'm not really saying something that you don't already know, or maybe haven't already thought of. It's become clear to me in these times, in these recent months, and in this present year, that wearing a mask or refraining from wearing a mask is more and more a political act. You know, that's not to say that everyone who wears a mask feels is doing so for political reasons, and it's not to say that everyone who refrains from wearing a mask is doing so for political reasons. But it does seem to me that, you know, the more that I look around and see people wearing masks, walking around outside, sometimes I see them even in their cars. They're in their cars and they're wearing masks. Like, I mean, do these people, when they get safely into their homes and close the door behind them, you know, and avoid all of the tainted air, the radioactive air, the Chernobyl-like atmosphere, and they enter the sterile environments of their homes that I'm sure they Lysol down the walls every day and disinfect everything they see, and before they ever touch it, several times, and wash their hands 80,000 times a day. Do they wear their masks even inside their houses? These are the kind of questions that come to mind for me. And well, I saw this one woman the other day, and she was quite obese. And I'm not saying that to make fun of her. It's just a fact. That was her body shape. She was very heavy. She had a lot of fat on her body, and she was wearing a mask. And I thought a very unkind thought to myself. I thought, you know, something along the lines of, "Lady, you know, if you're really afraid of this virus killing you, I think diabetes is probably going to get you first," or something along those lines, or maybe a heart attack, or I don't know. It's just, there's something about somebody who is so obviously unhealthy in their lifestyle, going around with this thing on their face that's supposed to keep them healthy. It just all seems, well, it all seems so weird and so surreal. The other day I was in a gas station, and there was a guy, the clerk had a mask, and it was like a surgical mask. It was a blue mask. You know, it made me think of the you know, the hospital, the kind of thing that you see people, the doctors and those helping the doctors wearing in the surgical room. And I asked him, "So when's your surgery scheduled for today?" Well, actually, I didn't ask him. I wish I had asked him that. I thought immediately after I walked out the door, I wish I had asked him that. And, you know, maybe he would have gotten the joke, maybe not. But it's just one of those things. So anyway, you see all these people wearing their masks. And what is, you know, I talk about how wearing a mask versus going maskless is increasingly gaining these political dimensions, political meanings. If you're wearing a mask, it means that you are compliant. It signifies that you buy into what you're being told, and you are fearful of the things that they are telling you to be fearful of. And it also connotes this, oh, Lawsy, we all gonna die. We all gonna die if we don't wear our masks. And maybe even when we do wear a mask, we all gonna die still. It's that mentality, which is putty in the hands of much of the political class, because the more helpless we feel, the more they have to gain as far as being able to steer us and push us and pass all kinds of laws against our God-given liberties and do whatever they feel like doing. The more fearful they can make us, the more that we show ourselves to be supine to them in our fearfulness, the more that they can do against us. The more compliant we are, the more we show ourselves to be compliant. There was even, I think there was even early on in this thing, there was some newspaper article that I saw somewhere. Like, I think it was in some Midwestern state where people are generally compliant anyway. It's sort of baked in their, well, I don't want to say baked in their DNA, because I'm not I don't believe that our destinies are determined by our genetics. But let's just say that among certain cultures there is this tendency to cleave to authority and to the dictates of authority. And states in the upper Midwest, like Wisconsin and Michigan and Minnesota, it seems to me that a lot of these places have a lot of people with that kind of, if not genetic background, then let's just say that cultural background. And of course, they're industrious people. They're mostly good people, law-abiding people. But there's something in the Germanic, Scandinavian kind of character. It seems to me, I hope this won't be too controversial and people won't be too pissed off about me saying this, but maybe they will. But it just seems to me that culturally speaking, there's this kind of, okay, well, we're told what to do. We've got our marching orders. Let's do it. We've just got to do our part. And that can come in handy in some cases. In other cases, not really what is useful at all. But anyway, I remember some article saying that the people of Minnesota have been compliant in this first week of lockdown, this first week of quarantine, and it's sort of like, okay, people of Minnesota, don't be so compliant, be a little less compliant. But that word compliant was actually used as to signify something good. There's something so infantilizing about that, like we're all in some elementary school, and we're getting our report cards, and they're saying, is compliant, works well with others, accepts authority, S for satisfactory, N for needs improvement, and so forth. But so with masks signify compliance if you wear them. And if you don't wear them, they signify that you don't care to be compliant, that you prefer your liberty, that you see your freedom as paramount, and you will not take marching orders and you will not fall in line. It has that signifier to it now. Again, you walk, I know maybe people will say, well, I haven't been wearing a mask and I haven't been thinking about it at all, and I'm not that way. Well, I'm just saying, again, this doesn't apply to everybody. I'm just, in every single case, is just generally speaking, in the atmosphere that we are in right now, wearing a mask versus not wearing a mask have these signifiers to them, attached to them. So I I thought of Men Without Masks, and then I that made me think of, and I'm certainly one of them. I am a man without a mask. I intend to be a man without a mask. There's nothing, again, if you're actually walking into a place where things need to be antiseptic, like a surgeon's room, or if you're somewhere where a mask is as a necessary implement, this is not anything categorical against mask wearing in general. It's just generally speaking, if you're somebody who just goes around wearing a mask these days, that does signify something versus not wearing a mask these days. So Men Without Hats had their song Safety Dance. And that's a great song about freedom. It's a great song about liberty, about willful liberty, willed liberty. How does it begin? We can dance if we want to. We can go where we want to. I can act like I want to. It's all about doing what you please. And I don't think it's saying I'll do what I please no matter the consequences. I don't think it's saying, the kind of indulgence in liberty that is really libertine, or something that is inappropriate, or that shows an absence of restraint. It's simply, no, I feel like living my life as a dance, and I can dance if I want to. If your friends don't dance, they're no friends of mine. It's like, if they're not also with me in having this kind of attitude towards things, in this willed liberty, that the way that I choose to be, then I don't care to be around people like that. It's I remember back in the 80s, it struck me as a kind of harsh line, like, okay, well, some people don't like to dance. You shouldn't have to disassociate yourself from them if they don't like to dance. But I think if you see it in this more analogical sort of way, then it makes more sense, and the line makes more sense, and it becomes more more coherent, and seems just less arbitrary to pick your friends based on whether they like to dance or not. We can dance if we want to. It's all about, again, willfulness in the face of tyranny. And that's what Men Without Masks are. Men without masks are men amongst the ruins, that Evola wrote about. Same idea. We are men who aren't going to be, played like marionettes. We are men who are going to do our thing, and we can dance if we want to. So, and we can go mask free if we want to. So this isn't a call to, say I'm better than you because you're wearing a mask and I'm not. It's not a call to having an elitist mindset. It's more of a come on, understand that you are being lied to. Understand that you are being played with like a marionette. They're pulling your strings. They're trying to get you to go along with their operation, with this, again, largely contrived, largely manufactured crisis that they are using as a pretext to gain greater power and control over the rest of us. And we need to say no. We need to signify that we do not comply. And that is what being a man without a mask is all about. Thanks for watching. My name's Andy Nowicki. Please check out my work at altrightnovelist.com or lowstatusnovelist.blogspot.com. Please see the website Affirmative Right for my series, The Lockdown is a PSYOP. I've got part 1 and part 2 now posted at Affirmative Right. That's affirmativeright.blogspot.com. And that's a series that I could intend to continue with. So keep a lookout over there for that series to continue. All right, talk to y'all soon. Thanks for watching.